2.
Hello both. Game week 12 is in the books, and a second successive green arrow for Team TSZ, which is nice because we kept yo-yoing up and down in the lead up to that. So back into the top 100k. Bit of a low scoring game week, not many massive scores around. Anything above 50 was half decent, and we got 54. So a quick rundown there. Raya, probably the hero of the week, our only player with a double-figure score. That's 10 point scores in a row for him. So it's turning out to be a good pick there. I didn't really expect a clean sheet against Chelsea, so that was a nice little prize. Less said about Trippier, the better. He's just doing it every week. I think he's the top scorer in defender now. And Neco Williams, bit of a surprise clean sheet, but nice. The way we actually play him, he gets some points. And then Johnny, didn't even play. But does it really matter because Wolves lost 2-1 anyway? I think we lost out on a point there. And then I'm not sure how to pronounce this guy's name. Gurhi is the last thing I've heard.
Guehi.
Well, I was saying Guehi.
I think
I heard differently.
Guehi is the what the commentators are saying.
Yeah.
Either way, it's frustrating to have so many clean sheets, and that was not one of them. That's disappointing. Only one game of all 8 was it 9 or 9 Premier League fixtures? Saw only one of them saw both teams score. So that's a lot of clean sheets, and unfortunately, Crystal Palace have let us down on that front, haven't they?
Yeah, and that Tuesday night fixture, big disappointment. Typical FPL that he got, I think, 7 points from our bench last week when we didn't need him.
Yeah.
And then we throw him in. And then into midfield, in terms of our whole team, the only thing that softens the blow about the SAKA captaincy fail is that, I don't know who else we would have actually captained in this team that did well at all. Maybe Mitrovic, but you're not gaining much there. Trossard, I know a few people captained him, so I'm glad we didn't do that, but it would have been the same result.
Trippier was the one, wasn't he, to captain really? But no one's captaining it. No one's having the guts to captain a defender, are they?
No, do we put him in the same bracket as the Trents and the Cancelos, given his recent output?
One worth thinking about, isn't it?
Maybe he's captain worthy. Andreas, I think you said that you saw the game, Alex, and he was unlucky not to put on away.
Really disappointing that 3 points doesn't do it justice. He was a proper number 10, attacking on all set pieces. Almost scored. Emi Martinez have made a couple of really good saves from him. He should have had an assist off another good save. He really disappointing not to get an attacking return from him. That was a really exciting performance. It's one of those, if you watch that, it's the first time you've watched him in a game, which what it was for me, first time from minute 1 to 90, he's a season keeper at his price. No doubt whatsoever.
Yeah, by far and away the best option there. The Zaha goal, I celebrated that far too much, to be honest. I was halfway through a text of friends saying what an FPL fraud he is. And then he goes and pops one in, and I was delighted with that because he's very frustrating, Zaha, but he is capable of doing that and getting into positions. Took his goal nicely, and then up front, Mitrovic again, just keeps chipping away, great value. And Tony, if it wasn't for a couple of good saves,
bad luck. Him and Andreas should have got more points than they ended up getting. The fact that we only got 5 points from Andreas and Tony is just ridiculously bad luck.
Yeah, so that's the way it goes. But we 85k now, so back where we want to be. So key questions here. We're one of the few people who kept, or teams, whatever, who kept Maddison, and now we have him back. And obviously we now have one free transfer, and then we've got a lot of people bringing in Foden or Saka this week. I've noticed. Saka does have a bit of a knock, but from what Arteta said, he's not really a major doubt, so he probably will play. And Trossard to one of those players is a popular move. Another one, and I assume, Alex, you might be coming forward with this, is Salah to De Bruyne. I know we did talk about that reverse transfer last week.
Yeah, it's an option. I was so a story. Obviously, I was in transit on Wednesday night at 7:45. So I do what any red-blooded male who loves his football would do. I whacked on soccer special on the old Sky Go, and I was hearing a lot about Darwin Núñez being selfish when he could pass it, etc., etc. I don't know whether that was actually happening. I didn't watch the game, obviously, but Danny Mills seemed a little annoyed. But Darwin is now injured, is he not? Did he not go off with a knock? I'm pretty sure. I've seen him listed as a doubt. So I'm thinking potentially could he not play, which may benefit Salah going into this game week.
He is a doubt. Klopp says we're going to have to wait and see. First of all, in the press conference, Klopp said that we've got no new injuries, we're fine. And then later on, he said, "Oh well, I think we caught it at the right time," talking about Darwin's injury, saying that sort of that it was a precautionary and they could feel something, so they took him off, and it seems okay. And we'll have to wait and see. So yeah, it's who knows? It's 50-50. We don't have a lot of news on that.
Okay.
I mean, as a Liverpool fan, we could do with not having any more
attacking injuries. Yeah, a lot of attacking injuries, isn't there, Adam?
I don't think he was that selfish in the midweek. He was the best player on the team whilst he was playing.
Doing well.
Salah was apparently hogging the touchline again, which is not on here.
It's a positional change. He's playing 4-4-2 at the moment, and he's playing Salah on the right and Carvalho on the left, and then Firmino and Darwin are the two strikers. So you can't really compare it to like a 4-3-3, which is what we used to for Liverpool. He does seem to have a different role when he's coming inside. When he does have those moments in the centre, he still looks dangerous. But yeah, he's peripheral, especially with Núñez is in good form, and so is Firmino. So it's kind of like he's more servicing them at the moment. Which is not what you want for your 13 million.
Yeah, exactly. It's the price that bugs me. It's the price. That stood out to me. I remember hearing that and thinking, oh, this is not one away. What I also heard, I can't remember who, I think it was Lee Hendry doing the Bournemouth game, getting very excited over a Philip Billing chance that drew a fantastic save, in Lee Hendry's words. Fantastic save. I was very close to WhatsApping the pair of you.
Bournemouth
decided to leave it to see if he did get a return. He didn't.
No.
Clearly more advanced player, but in the end, less points than Salah. So,
I did bring him in off the back of my big speech last time, and to be honest, unlucky.
Yeah, I haven't seen the chance, to be honest. I think I watched the highlights, and no, I didn't watch the highlights. Actually, I was going to say it didn't make the highlights, but I'll also have to check back at that and see.
It's okay. I just remember hearing the chat. A great save made in the first half. But you win on that one because Salah got one extra point. But you made De Bruyne look. I would like to have Man City cover in there against Brighton. Another Man City cover. I don't like having two Manchester City assets. At the same time, though, Arsenal, away at Southampton, that's a decent fixture. Southampton have injury problems. Bella Kotchap is out again. Walker Peters is out. They've got they have just kept a clean sheet to their credit, but Arsenal are a different kettle of fish in terms of opposition. So we've got decisions here in terms of we could very easily upgrade this midfield with either some Arsenal or Manchester City cover. Yeah,
that's the key decision. If we're going for Saka or Foden, then I'm sure it'll be Trossard out. That's the one because. Yes. The Trossard experiment has failed dismally, isn't it? So
it has.
We should move on from that. He was unlucky, actually. I think hit the bar and
he had a lot of chances. Yeah, ran into an inspired Dean Henderson. He did.
Yeah, but it is what it is. He's not returned. So yeah, him to Foden or Saka. It's really close between those two for me. Saka's got pens. He did play 90 minutes yesterday and picked up this knock, but it seems quite innocuous. He is flagged on FPL, but if you look at Arteta's comments, it seems pretty positive.
Arteta has rarely been rotating as well, hasn't he, for the season? Even in the Europa League, he gives all his players lots of minutes. The one worry with me for Foden would be rotation. Foden has an incredible home record recently for Man City. I think it's 4 goals and an assist in his last 2 at home. I might be wrong on that. I think it's a very high points outlet as well. Yeah, 4 goals and an assist in his last 2 home games. That's a lot of points, 30 points in 2. But is he nailed to start? His minutes look good, but and he's had a week break, so you would expect him to get a game, but you never know with Dortmund away in the Champions League.
Phil Foden is a good FPL asset, but he has never worked for Team TSZ ever.
Well,
in the history of
your,
the team.
yeah, your memory's better than mine with that. He's been all right for my own team. I know that you talk about rotation there. I think he's probably one of those nail players these days. He used to be far more of a risk with Mahrez and Sterling and players like that, but now there's no one else that's really claiming that. You've got Grealish.
Yeah.
He had a bit of a good start of the season's tailed off a bit. Mahrez
It's
and
helping that Morris is having a stinker of a season, isn't he?
yeah, and
Having a bit of a nightmare. And you know what Pep's like? If one of their attacking midfielders is like underperforming, you've seen it with Sterling in the past. He's not afraid. Like when someone's in form, he sticks with it, plays him all the time. If they're not in form, he'll bench you and he'll keep you on the bench for months on end.
yeah, I wouldn't be worried about him starting this next game. The main thing with him is doesn't often get 90 minutes, whereas Saka always invariably does.
Always, yeah.
Well, I have some memories of him going off. I think it was more last season, but
well, we've got if we're looking long term as well, it's worth noting that Saka's next game after Southampton away is Notts Forest at home. Yeah. And that is a sexy fixture.
I do think we need a player in at some point. But also on the point you just made about Foden, the matches there that he didn't finish 90 minutes, he did get an attacking return in all of them. So
yeah, usually it's the case that the job's done by then, and Man City they strike early, don't they, in games, and as you saw against United, you can get massive points haul. So I think he's got a higher ceiling than Saka. I'd say that. I don't think Saka's ever scored more than a couple. And
I think that's because ultimately it's because Man City have a higher ceiling goals wise than Arsenal. Yeah. Man City are more capable of panning a team by 5+. Arsenal can pan a team, but normally it's by like 3 goals max. So you've got to look at it that way, really. There's a higher chance of Foden gaining attacking returns. And his fixtures are good as well, I'm pretty sure. So we should be in a position really where we should gain good points off him. And he'll be desperate to impress with both of them will, but they'll be desperate to impress with the World Cup coming up. It's about securing their spots.
Yeah, I've got no doubt on either of them, but in terms of a starting spot maybe for Southgate.
Starting spot, exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. I would just because I've done it in my own team, I'd have to say Saka is my preference, but I could easily be persuaded to Foden.
My preference personally would be Foden. I think he has a higher ceiling than Saka, purely for the fact that Man City are able to score more goals. I know it's a risk because Arsenal have a very good fixture next, but I look at the rest of our midfield. If you take a quick look at Maddison, for example, Maddison has City at home. I'd be happy next week to dump him for, say, Martinelli or Saka, and they have Notts Forest at home in Gameweek 14. So that could easily be a transfer like next week.
Could you do both? Not this week, but if you just see if you can afford both, as in doing one this week and one next week?
Yeah, we can. I can tell with the money there.
We definitely can, because Martinelli was one of the most underpriced assets in the game. He started.
No, I meant Saka and Foden.
Saka is currently 7.9.
Yeah, no, we can do that.
Saka is currently 7.9.
Unless my maths is awfully wrong. Yeah,
that's from our captain. I've named Saka as one of my captain picks in our article, which you can catch on the TSZ site, our captain picks, which were terrible this past week, obviously. This week, though, a lot more enticing options available, such as Saka and Foden and Haaland, of course. Yeah, I like that. I like that personally. I would get Saka in for game week 14 for Maddison, and I would do Trossard for Foden now. That would be my choice.
Okay, but you want to do the Foden one first?
Yes, because he has the better fixture. He has Brighton at home and Saka has Southampton away. In my opinion, I think Foden has the better fixture. Man City's like ridiculous at home this season. They're just scoring goals for fun. I just can't see Brighton holding. I can't see Brighton.
Oh, Brighton!
I know Brighton have kept them clean sheet.
Brighton normally do pretty horridly against City anyway.
Yeah, they do. They have a new manager, understandably, but I just can't see it any other way. If Foden starts, he'll have a big chance of returns.
Right. Yeah. No. I mean, I don't feel strongly enough about Saka to really argue with that, so I'll go with it because
I just think this, Tristan and Adam, you can chime in if you agree with this. With Arsenal, I think you could get any of Saka, Martinelli, or Odegaard in, and you'll get returns at some point. It's one of those with the three. On one week, someone will do well. On another week, another will do well, and the other will blank. If you look at Saka didn't actually start that well. And Martinelli was getting loads of points.
No, lately
Saka's in a run. Yeah, that could flip flop. Like Martinelli will score a brace. Sorry, not Martinelli. Odegaard will score a brace against Southampton, and Saka will do nothing. I just think it's a bit more of a gamble, if that makes sense. Whereas Foden, I think, is a bit more like reliable across has been a bit more reliable across the season.
Okay, fine. So we've got our triple City there. That does block us out of De Bruyne. Just to point that out. So we would be keeping Saka for probably the next two now. Sorry, Saka. Salah for Forest away and Leeds at home. I think, which obviously
Leeds at home last season was a great fixture for him, wasn't it? So
yeah,
he's got good games as Salah. Those fixtures, I would keep Salah. It just frustrates me the way he's being deployed. Really frustrates me.
Okay, I don't really see any other fires. I think the team speaks for itself now in terms of the lineup. If I just
have a look at the lineup.
I have to go back to that. Just pretend Trossard is Foden because I haven't actually pressed the button yet.
I do think Johnny will come back into the team this week for Wolves. I don't think he was injured. I think he was rested.
Yeah, he was rested.
I do think he'll come back into the team, and he has Leicester at home. And compare that to someone like Gueye, Everton. That's just a big. You know exactly what's going to happen, don't we? This is going to be the one, isn't it? Whoever we pick, will blank, and whoever we bench will haul. Gueye against Everton away.
Yeah, it's tough. I think Leicester starting to tick a bit. I know they're not like getting
rubbish away
results.
from home. Rubbish away from home.
Sorry?
Rubbish away from home. They've won 2 games recently, both at home. Away, they've been same old, haven't they? If you have a look at their results. Pretty sure.
I know. But let's just... So you think Johnny better than Gueye?
That's what I go for. Again, Adam, if you think differently, Cyber Tristan.
Yeah, over Gueye, yeah.
Yeah, I think. I was just impressed with Palace as well. I think they shouldn't... They were unlucky to concede, to be honest, but...
I've got to say, I don't like benching Andreas, to be brutally honest, at any point now after watching him on Thursday. It's a gamble benching Andreas, but, I look at Maddison or Andreas. I think Andreas has a great chance of outscoring Maddison, to be brutally honest. But that is a gamble. And I'm not sure I would garner the support from you two for going for Andreas over Maddison. But he did look very good on Thursday.
The Leicester game last night, I think if Maddison was playing there, he would have got points. It's just,
you reckon?
Yeah. So him coming back into the team fresh, I know what you mean. It's almost a price thing. It's just because he's cheaper, you're benching Andreas. But to be fair, even though he looked good in that game, his general output is nowhere near Maddison's in terms of FPL points. So
it's funny, they're very similar players in terms of the way they play for their team. I noticed that. They're just very similar, both on set pieces, both like a long shot, both in the game really often. Like they're the hub of their creativity, both of them.
I'd probably more likely bench Zaha than Maddison. I know Zaha just scored, but...
Yeah, Zaha's a difficult... Yeah, that's true. He's a difficult one, though, Zaha.
Where have Zaha's goals come this season, home or away?
Well, he's got his last 2 at home, hasn't he? Oh, he scored, or he got an assist at home, against... He got an assist against Leeds, didn't he? And a goal against Wolves.
So 4 goals at home, 1 away.
Okay. Well, that tells the story, doesn't it? He's not very good away from home.
Against, as people keep saying on TV, the best defence in the league, Everton.
Are they not anymore, are they?
I don't know. I just say it's one of those buzzwords that all the players can't stop saying.
Yeah, I know there was a period. I think also they played less than everyone at that point as well. But yeah, they did. But since they lost 3 on the trot now, so I would expect.
Zaha will have a point to prove after Everton beat them 3-2 last season and pitch invaded. Keep Zaha in.
Oh, okay.
All right, so more Andreas points on the bench. Fine.
More? Did we have points off him last time on the bench? We probably did, didn't we?
Yeah, no, we have. Oh no, actually, we were one of the few that got him in. We got.
I'm sure we had him.
Well, he also subbed in, didn't he? Because someone didn't play. I can't remember who.
I genuinely like Trossard at City, but I don't know why I do. So let's just forget about that.
Because he got a hat-trick against Liverpool in a similarly difficult fixture. That's why.
I can see him. I can see it. I can see a mad game, but I think we can't keep talking about stuff like this. Trossard has to.
No, I mean, You could definitely come on the pod gloating next week if that happens.
That's fine. The
Because
Foden for me. Foden's got to come in for me. And Miguel Almiron, my God. What it's taken him two odd seasons. He's finally shown his potential that he had at Atalanta United.
Yeah.
Goodness me. Atlanta United took him long enough.
No, yeah. I mean, Newcastle as a whole playing really well.
They are doing really well, aren't they? It's worrying. They're not supposed to be doing this well this early on.
No, I know. It is a bit worrying, isn't it? I think next week, yeah, we've got to bring it. We have any Arsenal players and they're top of the league. So Saka or Martinelli next week for sure. And then
I'd make a case for Ben White as well if we wanted to take a hit. I noticed Ben White's garnering I've heard a bit of buzz on him. I think they're looking at England players before the World Cup, wanting to make an impact. Someone like Ben White's playing right back for Arsenal.
Yeah, we will get another week to assess that then.
We'll assess.
Yeah. So yeah. All right. Okay. I think we're locked in.
Locked in. Captain.
Yeah. Trossard, Foden. Yes.
I just want to register my my creeping doubts about Foden over De Bruyne, but I don't think we can do much about it.
Well, we can't because the transfer's been made. Haha. Ultimately, I've made my point on Mo Salah, but this is the way to go, I think. I don't see a better way. You know, it would just be classic Mo if we sold him and he scored 4 goals against Notts Forest.
Yeah, I think De Bruyne is definitely still the best choice, but it's a question of Salah and Foden versus De Bruyne and Trossard, isn't it? Whatever. So I think you have to put them both together.
As someone that's owned De Bruyne for virtually all season as well, it is quite annoying how often he gets subbed early. I understand why. He's their most important player, but my goodness me, I'm telling you, if Man City have the game won by 60 minutes, he's off all the time. It's really annoying. And it's handicapped him. He'd have much more points than he would already if he played 90 all the way through. It's really frustrating. You know, Foden might actually play 90 minutes in this game, which would be good.
Yeah, let's see. They're a full week's rest, aren't they? So
yeah, full week's rest. But they have a Champions League game on Tuesday night. I think it's Tuesday. Might be Wednesday. Tuesday, I think. Yeah.
Okay, right. Okay, we think we're sorted now. So
get the vice captaincy off Maddison. Give it to someone give it to Salah. Or Salah.
Yeah. Give Mo some confidence there with the vice captaincy. He needs it. He needs it. All right, guys. We'll chat to you next week.
Okay. Thanks, everyone.
See ya.